Actually, that's rather interesting when I see the battleships they are using.
Well,
WGP2W use
so what
Glock.
is the composition for Task Force 16? What ships have they got?
They have one Saipan, two Haiyu, and one Leon.
Okay, so and that's the same carriers on the wargaming side, except they have gone with the Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
And it's interesting how both teams have only taken one premium as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go for reals this time.
Okay. Let's second. Okay. Here, start from the south.
Yep, so what's going to happen is the Wargaming Pay to Win is initially starting from the north. Task Group 16.1 is starting from the south. After the first game, we will
Swap.
yeah, we'll basically rotate. So both teams get an equal chance.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
Okay, let's see how they will move.
so yeah, so we're saying this is our kind of our King of the Sea overlay system. Hopefully that makes it very easy to digest what's going on.
Okay.
Making it very easy for the enemy Colorado to finish me off, and then we'll go head off. Now we can see, interesting this takeoff here. You fire first to maybe get some air control to do air denial. Cami is using dive bomber first, maybe to do first scouting.
So I think they want to group together here.
Yep. The pay to win team is grouping up on a southern trajectory, perhaps rallying on their Colorado or their Saipan. We see that the Saipan has gone double these fighters out first, along with one hero, with the other heroes going with air scouting.
Oh, they already met in the middle.
Yeah, I bet it'll be a dance because there's no AA at this time because no one's that close enough. So we are looking at kind of like everyone getting their planes in the air and tangling. And then the bombers will come up after. Yeah, we see the first now pay to win's bombers coming up. Now, the issue here is if I actually snap onto the Saipan, so I get.
Yeah, actually, their torpedo fighters has no protection here. Actually,
So the first, all right. So there's a spotting plane from the Northern Hiryu from Pay to Win is showcasing 16.1. Now they can be seen. So the Colorado is taking its initial pot shots at the carriers, and both teams, interestingly, are going south. They're avoiding the islands to the north. They're avoiding the extra advantage that has. Giving you cover, making it hard to be bombed, and the enemy Saipan, the Task Group 16s, he's on fire, so he has to damage con that while he goes into stealth. And you see that the one dive bomber is being chased away by one of the Hiryu fighters. He's being a bit of a nuisance, doing detection. And we see that the second scouting dive bomber, probably from the same guy doing the same role, because different people in the carrier group are going to be given assignments, is coming in from the other side. So this stretches out the enemy fighter groups. Task Group 16 has to use a fighter to force the dive bombers away, which means they have fewer fighters in the center to engage with. And
exactly.
See that Wargaming Pay to Win, you may or may not see this, they're also being scouted by Task Group 16.1. They have a fighter screen basically surrounding them in a circle. And so it's kind of slow-paced-ish, but they're jostling for position, so they're trying to get the bar. So we see the Saipan's bombers from Task Group, from Wargaming Pay to Win, is coming through the center, and it's the same case in the south. So, but its battleship hit hots right now. You see the Saipan, but it's being focused by the Colorado again. Can Task Group 16 see Wargaming Pay to Win their ships?
And here's a.
Can your team see our team?
Yeah. Yeah. All of them, but it's disappearing. Yeah, because I think all
the dive bombers were chased away. Yeah, and so both teams clumped up pretty close together. Although I think Wargaming is much tighter. And Task Group 16 is actually pushing up through their base, kind of grouped together, but the Saipan's still taking damage because he's been spotted. That's 4 fires come together.
Here's.
So we're just checking. There's no strike coming yet. I think it's really just because the teams right now are kind of measuring each other out, getting a feel for it, protecting the bombers. The bombers don't want to go through until there's been like the first fighter engagement. So I was always wondering how the tempo of these games would run out, and now we're finding out. Both kind of creating a line abreast and then jostling for position. So what you may or may not see is that they are looking to strafe, and when someone strafes, you can counter strafe. So this is a double hard pushing, which can be counter strafe, but this one's going to clip this guy. Yep.
Oh,
double strafe coming in. So he wrecked that Hiryu group right there. And we spot Wargaming Pay to Win's bombers. I'm assuming you've just seen them now on the eastern side around F9.
Yeah. F9. Yeah. Oh, there's a huge group here.
Yep. Now the issue is now they're diving in, but the problem is there's no fire protection. Two of the Hiryu fighters are going to intercept the bombers. With the Saipan from Task Group 16 engaging the other Saipan's fighters, there's nothing protecting Pay to Win's bomber group right now. There's no fighters at all, so they're going to have to fall back. Yep. So they were looking to get into position. In fact, they may even lose some planes here because there's no fighters that may be able to catch up. Yeah.
Oh, okay, the bombers, yeah.
Double strafe, clipped off all the torpedo bombers, and got one of the bombing groups as well. Would appear that, in terms of how our team's playing defensively and offensively, Pay to Win is using double fighter to protect their groups. So they have two fighters protecting the groups, and they have the Saipan and another Hiryu set of fighters kind of jostling in the middle. We see that Task Group 16 has turned and now they're heading north following the Leon. And for the CV player, it is hectic, because you have to control your ship, control the positioning, and then manipulate your planes, and then maybe also then kind of bomb or scout as and when necessary.
The bomber still at the behind. Okay, now it's gone.
Yeah, we see 16's pushing the dive bomber away, and they've caught it. And it would appear that both teams are perhaps choosing to refresh the fighter planes and reload and rearm, because
I think they are already done with reloading the TF-16.
Yep, yeah, we can see that. Right, so the fighters are basically being kind of relined up again, and baiting tier 6. Is he not paying attention? Because that looks like it'd be bait. That's maybe something that you can do. We see one of the Hiryu fighters is tempted. He's gone in for the strafe. This other group is going to reverse strafe on it, but the strafe ended there. So what happened is that the red team fighter was kind of pushing in. It tried to strafe the torpedo bombers, and the green team fighter tried to reverse strafe or strafe into it, but it was at the end of its path, so he's pulled them back now.
So now it's more like trying to defeat as much as fighters by now, and no really damage his costs.
It's surprising. In all the test games I've had or trained with, the games ended in the first 4 minutes. So this is very different, because usually what would happen is one team would just block through. Oh, that's a good counter strafe. So this guy's gone forwards, and this extra Saipan, what he's done is this chap has kind of strafed into him. Give me 2 seconds here. What I'll do is I will change to animate small objects. Ooh, there we go. So he just caught him on strafe, and that's basically how everything's going to work here. But now at number 2, and he's also getting clipped by the Leon's AA, which is pretty ferocious. BB's kind of keeping at the distance. They're taking a couple of pot shots. We see that Task Group 16 is now actually moving up, using the island as cover, but I think Sir Krek is maybe out of position. I don't think he can turn enough to get further north. But they're all protecting each other. Now, the difference this time is that Wargaming has got themselves their entire bombing group to the south, and they have double Saipan fighter support right now. If they can see where the enemy bombers are, they can actually bring up their defensive fighters to kind of surround the enemy CVs and drop. Because let's be clear here, at tier 7 it takes about 6-7 torps roughly to cripple a carrier, and then the battleship maybe gets a pot shot in it. And but when you're thinking about how many torpedoes do we have, well, we have 8, and then another 8 is 16, and then another 6 on top of that. So you've got 22 torpedoes from the whole strike group, so only a couple of them actually need to make a connection. And once you've killed one of the enemy ships, they're down on planes, they're down on air control, and they're down on strike capability. So it really is that first kill that makes a huge difference.
Yes, absolutely. During my practice, always battleship is the first got killed.
All right, so the thing, right? So what's happening right now is the fact that Task Group 16 is moving through the island group. This island group, when they're taking battleship fire now, means that they cannot be struck from the eastern approach. The bombers have to go around, as we're seeing, on the western approaches, and through the western approaches then they can attack around from the west on side. The two carriers from behind are slightly lagging behind, and we've got two fighters providing escort duty. And oh, hello, check this out, there's actually an attempted strike, although with all this AA and one fighter, they did get some long range torps off, although I believe the Colorado probably kill his speed off and turn and dodge. So that was the first attempted strike. I'll keep our eye on the wargaming side, see if they go for anything.
Yeah, but I think it won't.
So the Colorado dodged it. However, it's 3 fighters on 2 fighter defense. But if you spread out the bombers and go from all directions, no, it's 3 fighters now. I think if wargaming are going to force this issue, they need to maybe go for the straggler carrier or maybe the Saipan, since it's already been kind of slightly wounded. And yeah, I mean, they're jostling, they're looking to strike. And let's see how they've got this massive arc of bombers coming from the north, torpedo bombers, then the dive bombers up in the top west, torpedo bombers and bombers around. So they look like they're going to hit from all directions. And once they know that all the bombers attacking wargaming side are gone and dealt with, maybe they'll bring up their defensive fighters. We'll see.
I think they are now more playing defensively. Defense. Or the fighters need to reload.
And the thing is, you notice that both teams now are rotating around each other, so it's almost a base race now. They're pushing for each other's base, so which means you're definitely going to have to get a reset if the enemy team gets a cap on you first, or the BBs might have to start pushing out. So it's like the slow positional gameplay, but I got the feeling the Colorado's getting more pot shots in on the enemy carriers. But he's not actually hitting him, but they are definitely trying. Oh, long range drop, yep, from clipped. So that's 2 torps in the water. I think the Leon should dodge it and the other carrier should dodge it as well.
I think Leon can dodge. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping to see all CVs to attack at the same time. That seems to be the most efficient way to go about it.
Yeah, they should like group all together the the bombers or the torpedoes bombers and then go together.
So Leon and Colorado trading HE, yeah? Okay, so now it's what do you see? The fact is, I know that task group has got dive bombers, and you can probably see the ships of Wargaming Pay to Win. And Wargaming Pay to Win, they can see the task group 16's forces via this dive bomber that they've got up to the west here. So as soon as the carriers pass the islands, they're going to be far more vulnerable, and this is probably what the Colorado's going to focus on. He's going to ignore the Elon and focus on the Saipan, yeah, because if the Saipan's got the 2 tier 9 fighters, you can get rid of that, then you can give yourself a much better chance of killing off the enemy ships.
But I think maybe to take down the battleship would be better. Like first.
Well, how long? You have to question yourself. How long would it take with the heal and a damage control party and all that? Whereas the battleships are, sorry, the carriers are far more fragile. So wouldn't that perhaps make more of an impact? Now, the important thing is, look at where Wargaming Pay to Win is right now. They are nowhere near the enemy space. They are nowhere near the southern base cap. But if we look at 16, they're already in the base cap with 2 ships, soon to be all 4. And it looks like they may even use the island in the center of the Team Green Wargaming's base cap for cover. So this is going to force the hand of Wargaming Pay to Win. They will need to go attack. There's no other choice. They've got to. And we've only got 7 minutes left in this game. So it's close and they need to do something, because it's either on game clock or points. Oh, strike came off on the enemy Saipan. So Sirius is going quick enough. He is. He's going to take 2 torps, probably take flooding on the nose, so he has to damage on that. Plus there's 2 follow-up dive bombers incoming. There's no fighters. Alright, there's 1 fighter here. If the serious damage cons, which he does, and that's a 30-second damage con, the 2 dive bombers can get a follow-up fire and then basically lock him out for landing and taking off planes. Yeah, so Sir Keck, I don't know if he was trying to go around the island or use it as a block, but he's currently preventing his Leon from firing. And we're still in this
Hydra and
position with
Leon
the...
is hiding behind the island, but Leon
Yep.
came out.
He was blocking his gunshots, right? So, but the thing is, what's got me interested is the fact that it is Task Group 16 that is doing the attacks right now, doing the dropping on the Wargaming Pay to Win team. Wargaming Pay to Win has lost vision now on their base. They're gonna have to go back and save it. Look, we're already at 2/3 of the base capture now.
Oh.
So the Colorado dodges the drop, but they need to go back. So the Saipan from Mage T91, yeah, he's on half health, if not less. Leon's only slightly scratched. If they get the kill, that's great. Then they'll be ahead on points. But yeah, another thing you have to take into consideration is that Task Group 16 is stopping point accumulation by Wargaming. So even if they lose a ship, they may build up enough of a lead that they can leave the cap. Or because they've delayed the cap, they can leave the cap and run away. Because it doesn't look like Wargaming Pay to Win's going to have enough people to go into their base to stall Task Force. And they'll win on points. Because again, 5 minutes left. All that Task Force needs to do is back off and wait out the 5 minutes, and then they'll win it. It's a very interesting, patient way to win this game.
I think they need to do it just to put the fighters around themselves and then protect themselves from.
So Surkek took some fire damage. We're down to the last 5 minutes. In terms of health pools, it's significantly higher health pools, mainly because the Hiryu and the Saipan have both taken damage. But we see bombers going in from the Wargaming Pay to Win without any fire protection, so they're realistically just trying to do a drop now. They've just been eaten alive, all 4 fighters doing defense.
Oh my god, it just vanished.
And you can see how, not desperate, but because Wargaming Pay to Win's hand has been forced, they don't have defensive fighters. They have to go up and protect their group currently fighting over their base cap. So it means that they are being hit by 1 or 2 straggling bombers coming in from Task Group 16. And this is chaos. Like you look at all these planes that are going on. How do you not strafe your own fighters? Do you just click on stuff? Do you strafe? Do you not strafe? How do you communicate in comms? There's so much going on from the point of view of the carrier players at the moment. But the battleship of the Colorado is doing work. Is he going to hit Sirkek again? Oh, he's trying to hit the Hiryu to get the base cap reset. So he's bought himself a little bit more time. Yeah, because what he's doing, he's actually shooting each of the 4 ships independently to keep doing resets. So you saw 2 shots going for American IPA and some shots hitting Saipan as well. So that's reduced it now to half. They have managed to get their Saipan into the cap, but look at this. Uncontested double torpedo bomber drop coming in on Saipan, Sirius 707 on his Saipan. I'm not sure where those torps were going. Maybe he lost a few too many ships. Oh, and a counter strafe at the very end. So that saves them. But there's still more bombers incoming. And it looks like the fighters are slightly pulling away. And we got bombers from Wargaming Pay to Win trying to go up the flank. But they're spotted. Sirkek is down to like a fraction of health. This could flip the points. If Sirkek dies, this actually means that Wargaming Pay to Win it would be in the lead on points. Another torpedo drop on Sirius. But Sirius has killed his speed off. Is this too close to connect? Oof. 1, but it's still not enough. I mean, if you thought they were maybe slightly better aimed, you could have taken a few more hits. On the other side, Sirkek is still taking shots from the enemy Colorado. This is their win condition. Kill that Hiryu and you win the game. That's what Wargaming Pay to Win's doing. But the Colorado has to keep resetting people, doesn't he?
I think the Hero has no protection right now. The fighters are coming back.
There's 1 set of fighters, maybe 2, 3 incoming. Honestly, those the torpedo bombers turn around. The Leon's AA, see how the Leon has pushed up. He jukes the strafe, the 2 torpedo bombers. We're down to the last 2 minutes, but there's 3 other fighters incoming. And the problem is, the Colorado from Pay to Win has to keep hitting all the ships equally to prevent the base capture. And here comes a drop. Single torps, maybe. Sirkek might take a clip, but oh no! Is that the base cap? That's the base cap. Task Group 16.1 wins it on a base capture. Wow. That's crazy. That was good. I didn't expect that, especially since both teams went south, but Task Group 16.1 turned around, went back, rotated on the map, and if we check by plane kills, we see that one Hiryu from Task Group 16 got 68 plane kills. Leon got 40. Another Hiryu got 32. And the Saipan on the Task Force 16 got 29. Whereas the Hiryu from Kami got 37 plane kills. then 33, then 27. So you can see that it felt as if Task Group 16, it looks as if they got far higher plane kill numbers. I mean, the Leon's AA is far more damaging than Colorado's. Yeah. I'm not sure we can see friendly plane kills. Yeah, you can see friendly plane kills on the ships that took part. So that was that was interesting. Now the thing is, what does Wargaming Pay to Win do now? Because it's a best of 3. Now they start on the other side. What do they do? How do they mix it up? Do they be more aggressive? Do they go for the attack? Do they do the same scenario where they just go north past the islands and go for the base capture? Do they both choose to go past each other for the base capture? That is interesting. We will see. Let's ready up and get going.
I don't know whether they will use the island. Actually, it also will be fun.
Yep. And then if Wargaming Pay to Win wins this game, we will go to a tiebreaker and we'll play on Ocean.
Yeah.
Right, so I think we're just waiting on the last 4 people to ready up and then we can go.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly a different pace of gameplay where you're sort of dancing on the edge and both lines of fighters don't necessarily want to engage because the game punishes you for making the first move. If you're the first move, you're the first guy to dive in, the enemy team can pounce on you because you're diving into their airspace and they can punish that one plane. So it's like, why would you want to dive in unless you don't need to, right?
Mm.
Oh, we're down for a second. Looks like things are just kind of shunting around.
Mm. But they don't really have many chance to really cause damage. I mean, I assume there should be like a gap when the fighters want to reload. But actually, the connection of each round is rather good. Was rather good.
And the number of fighters as well. So if you're really organized, you can sort of either rotate single planes by yourself, or let's say you have one CV that's playing, of the 3 CVs, you have one that's playing team defense. So his 2 fighters are defending the fleet. And then you've got 2 other carriers with their 4 fighter waves creating a defensive screen, fighting, out on the front line, as it were. If you're low on ammunition because you're a frontline carrier, you could rotate the defensive for the frontline fighters, but then again, maybe that would leave your strike group vulnerable. It's always the gamble there. And then the issue we saw at the end for Wargaming was the fact that they had to attack, they had to strike, so they were sending more and more fighters to defend their bombers who were trying to strike a heavy AA area with, basically Leon that was gobbling up lots of planes, and that then made them vulnerable to counterstrikes. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Now we're waiting for
Use the same
Craig.
setup.
Looks like he's setting up as well. I mean, I'm surprised by the Colorado. It's accurate, I guess. It's got good HE to kind of spam the enemy carriers.
Actually, Colorado's HE is rather good for setting fires.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Leon has more shots and it's got really good anti-air. It's got more shells. So is that a good kind of choice? I'm not sure. And then, of course, the Nidza now has just got really powerful long-range A, but again, it's fewer shots and less HE. So you're maybe relying on your battleship with spotting to do damage to enemy carriers, at least to wound them so that even a fraction of a drop can punish a carrier and get a kill. Because if you can get a kill, before mid-game, you basically, you can't see it was just killing a ship. You're killing like 40 planes or 50 planes if you sink a carrier. Right. So I'm going to turn right, get killed off by the battleship, and then we'll go in and have a peek.
They didn't change the setups. Still using
Saipan, hear you. Saipan, hear you. Right. I think we'll be seeing more of that throughout the whole competition. I'm interested that none of the premium battleships have been picked. And it's also interesting that neither team, at least in this setup, has chosen to go with Kaga. But as we see, both teams favouring complete air control, and the Hiryu's twin tier 7 fighters are just better than the 2 Kaga fighters.
Yeah, so actually we won't see 2 premium ships.
I sort of have to guess where my ship controls are with the spectator mode. There we go. Ouch. Well done. Right, so here we go. Same setup from pay to win. It looks like they're doing fire first on the saipan. They're doing dive bomber. One of their carriers has been assigned as like the dive bombing scout. So that's what this chap here is. This guy has probably dropped his payload and he is looking to evade the enemy planes and just spot where the enemy is and what the enemy is up to.
Okay, they are grouping together again. I think they'll again go around the island.
I will latch myself onto a carrier just so I don't have any desyncing. Yep. So the double dive bomber, or even the first dive bomber, has got the scouting up of the enemy carriers. The Saipan fighters kind of seeing from distance. We see the first incoming Colorado shots trying to get a few hits. Oh, he actually, interesting. He fires 4 shots in 4 different directions. Is he trying to maximize the fires from the different carriers? I think he is.
That's rather clever.
Just taking little chop shots. Yep. First little dueling in the center by the double Saipan fighter planes. Nothing coming out of it. More battleship fire incoming. Now, I don't know exactly what the Leon's range is, but can Task Group 16 currently see Pay to Win's group at the moment? Can your team see our team?
Just as a battleship and 1 saipan.
Okay, because we can see your entire 4, and that's that 1 dive bomber on the back. So having this one guy doing the scouting role keeps the things lit up, allows the Colorado to do the spotting. We see that both teams initially heading south, not choosing to go for the island pass like as we saw previously.
Can you team like last match? You can see our 4 ships.
Yep.
All the time.
All 4 ships currently all the time. That's because there's a dive bomber to the north of Task Group 16 that's keeping them lit up, and the fire duel is going on in the center. Now we've seen one group from Task Group 16 that's been wrecked. Counter strafe there by Wargaming Pay to Win kills another fighter wave. Now that is about a 30 to 40 second window. However, one of the wounded fire groups for Task Group 16 finished off Wargaming Pay to Win. We get a double C torpedo bomber from the Saipan thinking to attack, but there's actually 3 fighters on defense. So that's not going to happen. But check this out. We got 4 torpedo bombers going in for a strike. 2 fighters have chased that dive bomber by the north by Task Group 16. They're out of position. It's now or never. If Wargaming wants to, they see what I see. They need to dive and attack. The 2 Saipan fighter planes need to move over and come in defensive, because this is one fighter that's going to come back and try and wreck it right now. This 1 Tier 7 Hiryu fighter is going to come in and mess with it. They have this opportunity that the 2 fighters from Task Group 16 is now coming back from the north, and they've got this center one coming back. I feel like they had an opportunity there to dive in and to get a hit, but it's a bit late. Yeah, and now the problem is the fighter planes have been tagged, they're being strafed, and they're out of position. Yeah, and the 2 fighters from the Saipan that were playing defense on the bombers, they've been in the Leon's AA for too long. So one of the waves hasn't actually lost fighter planes due to enemy fighters; he's lost it due to enemy AA. And that's simply because he wasn't in the A bubble, he was in the A bubble, they didn't dive when they needed to, and don't get me wrong, the game is fully hectic and chaotic, but that was an opportunity there for Pay to Win to get a strike in. Now, how are we doing at the rest? So we still have 2 torpedo bombers and 2 dive bombers on the western flank, but they have no fighter protection at the moment. Fresh fighters taking off. The dive bombers that are scouting Pay to Win at the moment are trying to be fended off on the south, which is this chap down here.
Yeah, there are 2 torpedo bombers is coming, but no. Before I just saw 1 fighters on the map, so I think that's why they went south. But now things.
And it looks like it looks like Pay to Win's got 2 their torpedo bombers stuck in the north. They have no fire protection, and now crucially the enemy fighters have gotten behind them, basically preventing them from getting back to their carrier, cutting them off. So you can either see a click on or a strafe at the moment. And we will see, it looks like a click on engagement where you just click on the fighter planes would be best rather than a strafe, because if you strafe you could waste ammunition and you could be duped. Or he's actually choosing to strafe, because that back off, so it looks like a strafe. There it is. Yep, strafe. But the thing is, that turning of the plane, that circle around, is a telltale this plane is about to strafe. If you were paying attention to those torpedo bombers, you could have juked. Good strafe from Pay to Win on the enemy torpedo bomber and fire planes in the center. They've got extra fire planes coming in. Looks like the torpedo bomber's trying to get the Colorado, but not be shot down. In terms of planes in the sky, 2 fire planes in the back dealing with bombers for Pay to Win, and Task Force 16 trying to come from behind. It means they've got fewer in the front, but it feels like they've got air control in the front as well. In terms of health, check it out. This constant barrage from the Colorado has taken the Hiryu from American IPA down to half, and the Saipan about 60% HP. So even just a small strike is going to finish them off. And we see that there's a strike group going in the east, but no protection. Oh, and there's actually a torpedo bomber that escaped.
The fighters are coming for that.
Yeah, but there's no escort, is what I'm saying. So the Pay to Win fighters have come back, and the Saipan's fire planes, torpedo bombers, sorry, are going to get a drop on the Colorado, or are they going to get strafed from behind? 2 of them get strafed. It turns the last moment in for the Colorado. I don't like that angle, but he's going to get a torp. In the center line, so it's probably not a flooding. Alright, so we've got 4 torpedo bomber waves, 2 dive bomber waves, and 4 fighter waves from Pay to Win playing defensive now. Oh, well, jostling in the center. The Leon is kind of out there on the front, but he's got really strong AA, has a lot of health. You probably don't want to hit him as a carrier. You probably want to cycle round and maybe get the carriers from behind. And I would honestly... I would die for it. I'd go for it. I would group everything up and make a large crescent shape, and then make a drop on one of the 2 wounded carriers. Or at the very least, make sure you keep them spotted, because the Colorado has range. So keep that Hiryu spotted, or the Saipan spotted, and you can keep taking pot shots.
I think we don't really have a lot good view of your battleships or CVs.
Well, Task Group's got 2 dive bombers that are kind of flanking around, whereas the Wargaming Pay to Win only has sight from the front. So they only get to see what they have closest to the front. So they see the Leon and they don't want to kind of go around, and that's because it's a heavy fighter group, which is actually strafing that lone torpedo bomber, so he's been clipped off. And so the 3 fighters from Task Group is controlling the western kind of approaches. And now the issue is, if you look at the Pay to Win's strike group, they're splintered. They've got 2 Hiryus side by side. They've got a Saipan that's gone off into the corner, and they've got a Colorado that's kind of traipsing by himself around the island. Now that's also could be said of the Task Group 16, but they're in a line all going in the general same direction. Pay to Win has reached the border edge and now need to turn and rotate around. It just makes it harder for them to kind of do protection with their fire planes. That's what I'm trying to get at. And what we see here is in the south. Here it comes. Strike group in the south. Double torpedo bomber. Why is he pulling back? There's no bombers. There's no fighters in the south. He's got a clear path. Those are Saipan ones are faster. You got enemy Saipan. Pay to Win's fighter plane from Saipan is coming in. We have a Hiryu's fire planes coming in as well. But that turnaround lost him about 4 seconds. He knows the strafe's going to income, so he needs to juke and then drop. That's a strafe. Juke it. There's his juke. Oh, but the second strafe incoming as well rips off the first wave. Still, we've got 1 torpedo bomber incoming. Now, while that's happening, see when you're attacking from one direction and all fighters rally to it? That's the perfect time to attack from another direction. So you want to do like a 2-pronged attack. Well, you might get 1 off. Yep. And that may actually clip the Saipan, but yeah, because it's going too fast. And that might even get a flooding as well while he's at it. It's a reasonable hit. Colorado has turned, the other 2 Hiryus have turned. That Saipan's going to play catch up. They've got their back slightly pinned to the wall. They still have the most health Pay to Win, and it doesn't look like neither base is going to be threatened. But with 10 minutes to go, there was initial damage on the Saipan, the Hiryu, and I'm guessing the Colorado is just too far away or doesn't have reliable sight. Oh, Saipan going for a strafe on the torpedo bombers. Yep. Oh man, the counter strafe to get rid of the Saipan fighter by the Hiryu. Guaranteed kills off the torpedo bombers. So now we've got to ask, how many strike planes are left? I mean, all you need is to sink 1 ship. You just need to sink 1 ship, and that makes the difference. That gives you the point lead, and the enemy team has to play into you, and you can play in your AA bubble and play defensive. But it's still getting that first hit. And Pay to Win has the slight advantage, I think, in ship health. But I wonder, have they lost too many planes here? So that's a strafe on a Hiryu. Now, at what cost though? Because he's moving in with the Saipan and another Hiryu firing coming. So this will probably be maybe a head-on strafe? No, so that's a reverse strafe from that Hiryu trying to catch him. It didn't happen. It's down a plane. This one's jostling for position on the side. And we see we've got a potential strike, but coming into Leon, I think that's a bad idea. The enemy bombers by Task Group 16 have been spotted on the western edge going over the island, so that'll have to be dealt with. 4 fighters protecting the southern front of Task Group 16, so that's not going to go anywhere. However, this fighter on the western flank is being ganked, and the bombers are being babysit by the fighters. What's left to defend on the back? Well, the Saipan has now caught up with the Hiryu, so they're actually pretty good AA, and they got 2 fighters to play defense. And we see that the fighter planes from Task Group 16 are actually coming back to play defense as well, rather than protecting their bombers. So both teams electing to play defense. four fighters ganking. Yeah, oh, but the torpedo bombers have been caught. And he's exit strafed with his Hiryu as well. Didn't catch anyone, but it's a smaller... it's a very large fighter ensemble going on in the center. And while this is happening, there's also these... Oh, good strafe there by that Saipan. Yeah. The Hiryu from American IP is taking more HE damage. We see a single torpedo bomber making it through on the flank on the south. The torpedo bomber and double dive bombers. Looks like the fighter planes on the south defensive from WGP2W have stopped that strike. So look, all these fighters stopping on one side. But here comes the other side. He's only got the Leon to strike. Oh man, the AA was crazy. That was a long range drop. I think he's trying to get American IPA. IPA is stopped, but he was burning. He's damage controlled now. He's down on health, down to about a third. Another set of battleship HE coming in. I'm fairly certain, unless they've got torpedo acceleration, those torps now they're not going to connect. So American IPA, he's your target. He's the one you got to go with, and he's the one that Task Group 16 has to babysit. But there's no fires in the air, and look at this, 2 torpedo bombers incoming. But if you're Task Group 16, who do you strike? No one's really got low health, so do you go after the battleship? You've got a free attack, so you got to make your decision and go for it now.
Actually, they Leon caught on like fire on the Hiryu, like which left behind.
Oh, this is the first good strike now against the ship. Here you're taking 3 torps, probably definitely a flooding, and he's going to take some HE shots as well. Now you can heal that up, and that's not too big of a deal. But importantly, the carriers are at high health. It's still a stalemate, but health-wise, Pay to Win knows how they win this game. They know what their target is, but can they pull it off? Because when it gets to 7 minutes and down, if this game ends in a tie, if the game ends in such a way that the points are equal, then neither team scores a point. And when neither team scores a point, what is the score? It's currently 1-0 to Task Group 16. They win the best of 3. So Wargaming needs to win this game. So at a certain point, they have to turn around and attack aggressively. Alright, how are we getting on at the moment? So we've got 2 fighters in the center, basically jostling with the 3 from Task Group 16. They've got 1 fighter in the north over here. He's watching that single torpedo bomber. I'm guessing Task Group 16 can't see Wargaming take Pay to Win. Is that the case?
No, we can just see 1 Saipan, 2 fighters, and no other things. Okay, the torpedoes comes. The Hiryu with low health is it's falling back. I think the WGP2W is trying everything to take him down.
Well, if he falls back, he's not gonna have that kind of collective AA protecting him. So
no.
Is Task Group 16 strategy here smart? Should they be pushing in? Because they should know that they will win this by stalling the game to a draw. And they also know that by losing IPA, they will lose the game and it'll go to a tiebreaker. Oh, more battleship HE incoming here from the Colorado.
I think this will be on, yeah.
3 shell hits. How much health has he got left?
And and it's on fire.
Has he got a damage con for that? Or is he going to burn out?
It's burning. Okay, I think
he gets him! He gets him! Alright, so that is 1-0 to Task Group 16. Wait, no, sorry. Sorry, it was -1 and 0. It's confusing. So it's basic because we had to kill off the spectators. Ultimately, what we're trying to say here is that Pay to Win is winning. They've got the point advantage. That's the important thing.
5 minutes to go.
It's getting pretty chaotic. Like there's basically a huge ensemble going on the center. The enemy Colorado is taking a beating now from the Leon. Are there any strike planes left? With a down a ship, can they do anything? We see a single fire plane on the Hiryu, but the Kami's Hiryu is at full health. This 2 Saipan torpedo bomber drop, it will probably connect on Kami. Maybe it's actually going to behind him, so he only takes a small amount of damage. But is it enough? No, you're basically chipping at the health. Exactly. So how does Task Group 16 get back into this? It looks like they don't have any planes left, and it looks like here comes another bombing attack. They've got single fire with 3 fires.
They don't have any fighters anymore. Like they're.
Well, we got 4 minutes to go, and look at this: 4 torpedo bomber waves coming in for the Saipan. We got 3 fire planes for Task Group 16, only just coming up. If I was the he's exit strafing. If I was the enemy here, yes, he splits the bombers up, so he gets the first drop. Here comes the second drop. I'm fairly certain this is a dead Saipan, and then in comes the double torpedo bombers drop from the Hiryu, uncontested. The strafe is too low. Oh, that's a dead Saipan right there. He's going to take at least 4 torps. So Wargaming Pay to Win cementing their point leads. It looks like we're going to go to a tiebreaker on Ocean.
Yeah, I think so.
Colorado taking a shot on Sir Craig, but I think this is it. 3 minutes and 20. Yeah, I think the teams are calling it port.
Yeah, they called GG. Yeah, so it's end, right?
I'm just seeing if they're GGing, if they want to or play on. We'll see if they want to play on or go to port, because until they actually confirm it in text, then we're just going to keep playing on.
Yeah. It said port, but in the team speak.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've not seen whether Task Group 16 said go to port. Did they or did they not in chat? Oh, are they going port? Okay, so that's a win. All right. So that's 1-1 now. Wargaming has tied the game, and this has come down to their Colorado taking chip shots at the enemy carriers, getting them down to about 2/3, half health, and then just long protracted battles with the fighter planes, resulting in, let's check out the results in plane kills now. Let's see if there's a big difference here. Wow, there's a huge difference. Check that out. Kami has 72 plane kills this time, followed by 42, 33, and the Colorado 11, 40 for the American IPA, 39 for the Leon, 38 for the Saipan, and 28 for the Hiryu. So the deficit of the Colorado is made up by Kami, and he's also got more than to spare. So that's where the numbers reduce. But the fact that we get to kill off, that's what basically made it all happen. Okay, so we are going to Ocean.
Nowhere to hide. We have to face each other.
Yep, no islands, nothing to hide. It's 2 separate capture points. This is it. This is now the decider. Alright, we're just waiting for the teams to ready up and going to the decider. And the thing is, in about
there's a change now. Or no?
So here we go. They can change. You can change your ships, etc., or players, if you want. So yeah, Task Force 16 swapping out a player. Looks like they want 30 seconds. That's fine. All right, so with the 2-minute delay, we can see that it's the same setup for Pay to Win. So they've got a setup that they know that works. Double Hiryu, Saipan, Colorado. They like their Colorado. They give him sight. They let him take some kind of pot shots at the enemy team, and then they go in for the kill. They play the long game where they go for fire control rather than diving in and getting that early kill. They're playing the long game, bleeding the enemy dry, and then going, oh, they've swapped the Leon to a nice now. That's some really powerful long-range AA there in the Eisenhower if he's AA spec, which he will be.
Yeah.
Let's check a few things here. I'm catching up on the results. There's a bunch of results going on. We'll cover them once we've got out of this game. Right, we're ready to go. So let's go. The next, the quarterfinal round, which is basically round 2, that starts in 20 minutes from now. So if this goes 20 minutes, we're basically straight into the next game. That's why we needed this much time. Right. So Ocean, so there's a change. We now have a Gneisenau long-range AA come to Colorado. What do? Do you not move? Do you just stay where you are at a distance? Do you group up?
I think to attack more efficient, maybe they need to grow up and also to cap the to cap is also like the way to win, right?
Yeah, so the game is just like a standard battle. You either win by points if the game goes to 20 minutes, or you win by capturing the enemy base. So sinking all the enemy ships, capturing the enemy base, or winning by points in 20 minutes. So it's, there's no fancy, made-up rules. It's using the in-game mechanics of the game, which is the best way to, run something and adjudicate.
I think they want to push.
Well, I'm just going to get myself killed off by the Colorado because he wants me to get closer.
Half.
So we can see that the planes are taken off. The same setup. I think Cammy's doing the scouting role with the dive bombers. Yeah, so you just saw there, he dropped his payload. That's so his dive bombers can go faster. And he can evade most of the fighter planes and scout. So I'm going to turn sideways, let the Colorado kill me.
Okay. Down here. But if they use Gneisenau, I think it's like mainly for AA sports. I don't think there will be much damage output.
There we go. Nice kill. Right, so let's have a quick check this map. I will actually center myself on a carrier if you're not aware, so I don't get any desyncs. Okay, so the pay-to-win group is actually clumping up on the western border. They're grouping up and they're pushing down the western border. And we see that the barely Task Group 16, we're aware of where the 3 ships are, and we see that the scouting dive bomber has been forced away in the north. That's this chap over here. And we also see that there's a central fighter line. Task Group's already down 2 fighters from a little clip engagement. Some torpedo bombers, some scouting, and we see that the dive bomber from probably Cammy is coming in. He's going to reveal now the whole task group and their setup. So both teams going along the east and western edges at the moment are thinking to start moving. All the planes are in the air. All the bombers from the strike group of Pay to Win are currently sitting in their cap. Where are the bombers currently for Task Group 16?
Bombers?
Yes, their strike group.
It's on the south middle and one is at the north.
Gotcha.
I think the one on the north want to go to the back of the WGP2W and to have to provide the spots. Till now we can only see the
good strafe from the center. Saipan strafes, clips off a bunch of torpedo bombers. Is he going to try and escape? Can he escape? Because this Pay to Win fire is going to see him. He's going to tag him? Nope. Oh, he strafes in the wrong direction. Oh, there's a reverse strafe. And they dart each other again. There's a lot of dancing. Oh, but the reverse strafe actually kills in 3 planes. Wow, okay, so that's good play there by the Saipan. That is Sirius 707, kind of doing this dancing war with the single fighters in the center. Right, what else is... So it's basically playing along the line. We see 5 fighter planes. We spot... The Pay to Win just spotted the spotting dive bomber from Task Group 16 in the north. Whether or not they do something about that, we'll see. The 6 fighter groups are creating a kind of this arcing line if I bring up the map mode. So it's kind of creating the natural barrier along the middle of the map. And they're just looking to get rid of the spotting kind of planes. I'm not sure if the dive bomber from Task Group 16 is a good idea going over the cap, but it is revealing the enemy team and where they are. It's the same scenario with Cammy and his dive bomber basically spotting the enemy team, but he looks like he's going to get caught out. He's not being controlled. He's managed to escape, I think.
I think
he's being chased though into a corner. He's got nowhere to go. I don't think he's got the speed advantage to escape round a corner. Oh, and check this out. Colorado, again, trying to take some pot shots at the carriers. Now, at the moment, it's only the Gneisenau that's taken some damage, and the Colorado as well. So the battleship's kind of point... here you from Sir Keck takes a little bit. The scouting dive bomber has been tagged, but it's only 2 fighters against... Alright, now it's 3 dive bombers. So hopefully that'll go... Oh, wow. Torpedo bombers in the center? So Saipan torpedo bombers made it through the center. Here you fighters on them.
Nationalist has no protection right now. But he...
Dodges the torps. Yep.
No,
He's on fire, though.
Dodged.
He's put the fires out. Sir Keck is taking hits, however. And the thing is, Colorado's got, what, 8 shells? Let's just confirm that. Yes, he's got 8 on 6 in terms of the number of barrels that the battleship can shoot. But the Gneisenau, if he's pointing nose on, he's going to be kind of the same.
I think he's away from the team. It's a little bit
Did
messy.
I not save the scoreboard? Oh yeah, I didn't. You know what? I didn't save the scoreboard. That's right. No, it is 1-1. It is 1-1. You're right, guys. I didn't hit save a little file. Hold on a sec. Let me see if I can solve that. Boom. Classy. That's high production value right there. Okay, moving on. We see that dive bomb in the north is being kind of hunted down by the Task Group 16's fighter plane. There are still another twin torpedo bombers from one of the Hiryus coming down in the center. And he's going to get strafed from behind. Is he not paying attention? Saipan's fire comes in. It doesn't strafe! It just flies right past them. Okay, now here comes the Hiryu fire from the front and the Saipan in the back. Need to make sure it doesn't get strafe. Okay, in terms of health pools, Sir Craig's taking a little bit of damage on his ship.
It's vanished.
See, now here's the thing. With a tier 7 Hiryu against Saipan, the Hiryu's fighter actually wins a click engagement. It will actually win on a one-on-one. Oh, but there's a strafe, which he exit strafes out. Wow, how did that Saipan get the advantage? That was an aggressive strafe, but he exit strafes, knowing the fire plane's leaving, and he escapes. Because the Saipan's fighter was going to lose there. But the issue here is that does this Hiryu fighter on 3 planes exit strafe? Does that intercept? Did the torpedo bombers now get the Colorado? It's a very good chance here. Plus, there's the AA of the Colorado affecting the Task Group 16's bombers. I don't feel... Yeah, so there was an exit strafe by the Hiryu. I don't think you can afford to strafe from the side anymore. No, you have to do head-on strafes. And they will probably get a torp. Yep, so they get a torp, maybe a flood.
It doesn't seem like a flood. No?
I can't tell at the moment. The thing is, the Colorado's probably got the better guns, but the issue is the AA of the Gneisenau is at long range just very, very powerful. So you see that Task Group is actually pushing towards Wargaming Pay to Win. They're pushing towards their base cap. They're using the Gneisenau as the point man with his AA. They're playing defensive and they're going slowly. If anything, actually, American IPA is reversing, but they're creeping slowly, and it's forcing Pay to Win up into their corners. So they were going south, now they reverted. They're going north. They're going to defend their base. Colorado straggling at the back, but the Colorado's only focused on the enemy Hiryu, and that's because they're being spotted by the single dive bomber on the extreme edge by Kami. That is what is doing all this extra damage. Plus, check this out. We got a double torpedo bomber Saipan fire. Oh, never mind. The Gneisenau's got fire cover. And that single dive bomber's been chased by a Hiryu fighter. If they get rid of that, then they can go stealth again. Oh, is that 2 torps on the knife? Oh, the Colorado got hit again. Now, did he get flooded the first time, and is that now a sticky flood? It doesn't look like it from his health bars. But he's getting bombed again. All the focus is on the enemy Colorado from Task Group. There is a fighter coming in. All the bombers need to attack at once. The dive bomber gets a bad strafe. Now here comes the second fire from the Saipan of Pay to Win.
And there comes again the torpedoes.
The torpedoes need to drop at max distance, or they need to drop in such... Wait, oh, he's reverse strafing. Duke your planes! Come on, that's such an obvious strafe. Oh my god! You knew that was going to happen. As soon as the plane jerks, or that means a strafe is incoming, and you can juke to the side, and then the fire plane can't do anything. Well, on the other side, The Gneisenau still pushing up, getting close to the base, firing on the Colorado. It looks like they're focusing all on the enemy battleship. Kill off Lord Shogi from Pay to Win gets you the win. The Gneisenau, look how far apart is he from your carriage? Is he still within AA range, or is he actually out by himself now?
What?
Well,
Oh.
we see the bombers from Pay to Win in the north being caught by one of the Saipan fighters from Task Group 16. I don't think they're going to get any real strike off. There's no scouting. We see like multiple bombers in the center, and it's It's interesting here because the fighters from Task Group 16 are playing inside the Gneisenau's AA bubble. That's pretty huge. It means they always have the passive AA advantage. And it's forcing Wargaming back into the corner because the Colorado doesn't have the same AA range. So they're trying to play the defensive fight in the open, and Task Group 16 isn't letting them do that because it's saying, no, you will fight in our AA bubble and we will move our AA bubble into your base. So I think this time around, even though the Colorado's still trying to do that bleeding effect on the carriers, I don't think it's working. And yeah, so they're losing more fireplanes this time. So look at this. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fireplanes all in the front of the Gneisenau as they push up to the cap. They see them, but I don't think the Colorado can do enough damage.
The fighter don't even need to strive. The planes just vanished.
Yeah, so it's Task Group 16. They don't. Well, they're alright. So over the capture point right now, they're in no man's land. You see the Saipan's double fighters from the Task Group 16. They've escaped and are going to go hit the Colorado again. The fighters are outnumbered here by Pay to Win. Oh, this is a strafe if ever I saw one. But he's exit strafed out. He's clipped one wave. He's been hit from behind. And he gets tagged, and this one breaks away. So this group of 2 fighters is now going to go after the 2 torpedo bombers. But if he's quick, he can get dropped. And that's that's 4 torpedo bomber waves with only 2 fire planes. All right, second wave from the Saipan's just taking off from the top. So the 2 fighters clip 2 planes. Is he going to go for? Yeah, he's going for the Colorado. He's down to 4 planes in the bombing wave, but that's a clean drop. That is a good drop. And then we see a follow up from the Japanese torpedo bomber. No, he's not going to get one. Colorado taking a bunch of hits. That's definitely a flooding there. But can he heal up? Now, and this is the next thing. Can the Gneisenau of Task Group 16 push in? Because we've got 8 minutes left in this game. As soon as the Gneisenau enters the cap, that means they have point advantage. It means the capture points are stalled for Wargaming Pay to Win, which means they're winning. And then it forces Pay to Win to get a kill to win the game. I bet this looks like it's going to end pretty brutally because all of those bombers focusing on the Colorado. Can they bleed him out? Can the Colorado survive? And at what point does Pay to Win use their AA bubble? Because at the moment it's all Task Group applying maximum pressure.
Okay, they enter the cap.
Yep. So because they've stalled the points, it means that Task Group 16 will win if this goes the game. If this runs it. If nobody dies, Task Group 16 wins the game. So what can Wargaming Pay to Win do here? Colorado is turning. I think he's choosing to engage. Honestly, all 4 carriers... Oh, the Colorado's burning, and it's a sticky burn because of the flooding before. And it looks like that's... Oh, he's damage conned it now. But the Colorado's still firing on the carriers. I honestly feel Wargaming Pay to Win needs to charge with their carriers, act as a tanking deterrent, and push. But the Gneisenau is tanky. It's a brawler, right? It's got torpedoes. You don't want to get too close to it, do you? But on the capture point, what choices have you got? And, oh my goodness, I think... The Saipan just strafed his own torpedo bombers in his fireplane. I just caught that. This guy right here. Very aggressive strafes coming in by the enemy Saipan of Mage T91. And he's going to exit out strafes. He's in very hostile AA here. But look, there's the single torpedo bomber incoming again. Is it going to get strafed? Yes, but he gets a single torp off. But the Colorado is burning again. His damage con... Nope, it's out immediately. Colorado is soaking up a ton of damage, but what's going to happen? We don't see anything. We don't. All right, there's the Gneisenau. We see the Gneisenau, but we don't see any of the carriers. So is he going to find the Gneisenau? There's been no strikes on your ships. It's just been battleship clip hits. Everything's going to be locked out so far.
But all the rest haven't gone inside the base. Okay.
Well, the thing is, the other carriers are not. So I see one Saipan is out of the cap at the back, but American IP is continuing the cap. All the capture points are on the Nice now, so he's getting chapped down. So really, the capture points are now in the Hiryu. But we see attacking wave after attacking wave incoming from Task Group 16, and I don't think Pay to Win can make this work. They're inside the Nice now's AA bubble here. So they're just losing fire planes, and you see bombing after bombing wave coming in. Did they choose not to bomb? Alright, here it comes. Oh, that's a wide panic attack. Doesn't activate, and he dodges the other one. I feel they could maybe do better, but here comes... Oh, attack from the other side. Oh, no. I think this is it for the Colorado. I think this is Wargaming Pay to Win's dreams going up in smoke.
Oh.
Colorado goes down from attack from multiple directions. I think that Gneisenau push with its AA is what won the game here. And the carrier's all in the top corner, and this is pretty much GG here. The Gneisenau is just going to push up. He's going to use his very powerful AA to just shoot down planes with the fighter cover that he's got, and they'll kill off the carriers. The carriers from Wargaming Pay to Win need to kill off the Gneisenau before he kills them, assuming they even have the strike capability, which doesn't feel like they've got the fighters for it. And then they also need to kill another ship to get the points back, and all in 5 minutes. I don't see how this is going to be the case. I think this is now task groups win.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt for that.
Yeah.
They're just at the corner.
And it's not like it was different carriers here. The battleship from the Colorado was doing more chip damage, but the Gneisenau just AA bubble and pushing with the fighter planes and then the bombers was the way it worked. And I believe that is it.
Ah, it's a GG.
Yep, GG. All right. We're gonna jump to port, check those scores. That's an updated win. I can take away this ye old fix exit to port. Oh yes, let's exit the battle. Come on, Gabe. And we will leave this training room.
Okay.
Excuse me. Oh, it's very well done there by Task Group 16. Realizing that their strategy didn't work, mixing it up, and changing the battleship composition from the Leon to the Gneisenau. Look at that, Gneisenau, 64 plane kills.
Yeah.
56 on the Saipan, enemy Saipan got 42, one Hiryu got 44, the other Hiryu's got 30 and 20, but it's that Gneisenau. It's just all powerful. That's a very good strategy change by Task Group 16, realizing what works. In open, clear oceans with no islands, nothing to hide behind, you just slowly push with the battleship, keeping the enemy blind, and then getting strike-ins when they get desperate. Okay, if we have a quick